Tonight on Noir. LaSorte and I are in awe of Travis Haley's ridiculous skills. I get some one-on-one time with the Colion Arms Tier 1 rifle, and we tackle stage 12 of the challenge. Welcome back to another episode of Noir. And what's going on, guys?
Hey, man.
Oh, I think Amy's talking about getting some gun training.
I am. I mean, you guys know I've been shooting with you now for several months, and as natural as I think I picked that up and as easy as it was for me, I still feel like I've hit this little ceiling, and I need to work on my skills.
So she's basically saying that
I need to work on.
She's basically saying she's not learning enough from us, which I feel a little inadequate right now, but okay.
I just want like a professional traiing course, and there's like several that I'm looking at right now, so you guys can kind of help me narrow them down. Yeah.
Training. It's been on my mind a little bit, and some people, even in the gun community, say that training should be mandatory in order to own a firearm, which makes your right to keep and bear arms a privilege. So, and then certainly anti-gunners are arguing that all the time. And I mean, these are the same people who, if somebody proposed like mandatory education in order to vote, like knowing the 9 U.S. Supreme Court justices or the first 16 U.S. presidents, they'd say, no, 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 because the right to vote is a right, and that'd be making it a privilege.
Yep.
Everyone should get training.
Absolutely.
If you own a gun, get training. Hell, if you don't own a gun, get training.
Absolutely.
You never know when you might find yourself in a situation where you're presented with a gun that you could use to protect yourself, even if you didn't own it.
More education is always better, right?
Absolutely.
They intimidate people, but they really are simple.
They are, and that's why we advocate so staunchly for the ability to own and bear firearms, because they are the most effective tool at protecting ourselves that we can utilize easily.
Yeah, I mean, I think it comes from a good place. It's just clearly misguided. I personally think that, yes, if you're gonna have a firearm, you need to know how to use it. But on the other hand, I mean, if you find yourself in a situation where you don't have time to go and get that training, well, that should not limit your access to being able to go and get a firearm.
No.
You know, if that's what you feel like you need to defend yourself.
Right. Or lots of people who need firearms to defend themselves don't necessarily have the financial resources to pay for training.
True.
And that's one reason that we did oftentimes argue against mandatory training for concealed carry permits, because there's a cost associated with that.
Yeah,
and it discourages people from being able to defend themselves.
One of the beautiful things I will say is the fact that with the NRA, they have these certified instructors. You're an NRA certified instructor. So I think the more that we expand that, which they continue to do every day, it allows, it gets people the ability to have access to certain levels of training that I feel like.
So I kind of did have some. I kind of did have some official training then.
You did, and maybe you didn't know it, but I mean, and I still feel a little inadequate, but one person who's going to be on the show this week is an NRA certified instructor, and you're definitely not going to feel that he as an instructor is ever going to be inadequate.
Yeah, Travis Haley was one of my first instructors.
Awesome.
You started at the top.
And so let's take a look at what else we learned.
Let's do it.
This guy's good.
So I think some of the things that I would like to cover today is we can certainly start with a 2-2-4-2-2 drill. I'll just run it and see how you guys do it, and then we'll break it down shotgun style. Instead of just saying, hey man, let's run it 100 times just to see if you get better, which we tend to want to do. Let's see if we can go into the processes and control impulses, okay? So what we're trying to do is find a neuromuscular timing between our brains and our trigger fingers, the movement, because we tend to just to focus on the goal itself and not actually focus on the processes. So we'll run it, going for the goal, right? Let's go for the trophy, go as fast and as hard as you can, and then we'll see what we can do to fix that.
Cool.
Tension, control, impulse, control, relaxation. Okay, nice and relaxed.
So, taking your time, nice and smooth, 4.28.
Sit. Okay.
4.85, you did not beat him.
And you're out of the circle.
Let's do it again.
Still good.
So remember where your sights are. Be accountable for every shot you fire, because look at your low shots. You're getting sucked into that height over bore, because we got, what, about 2.5 inches at least there with the EOTech. Safety on this time, you cheater.
Ready.
And that's what we're going to focus on, impulse control.
Okay, that was actually pretty good.
Okay, 348. All right, 348. Run it one more time. He can't count either, so.
He can't count either.
So 11 rounds and 337.
The only way I knew that was 12 shots is I had to look at the number on the timer, 212.
So let's take a look at number 1, biomechanics.
Yeah.
And number 2, let's get trigger control down and getting our shots off faster to reduce that time. All right, 31. Speed is good, accuracy is not. Let's do it one more time. All right, 36. Now, lower the gun slightly. Lower it, lower it. Look
He doesn't want
over the top of your optic. Look over the top of your optic. Stand by.
That was good.
So 30. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is get you a sub 30. Okay, let's try that. Lower. What I'm trying to do is get you to come lower because your shot will go off faster. This is where we don't think it's counterintuitive, so trust me. Lower the gun. Right there. Get your thumb on that safety. Stand by. There's your 29.
Nice.
So that's 2 shots in .40. You notice how you transition from one target to the next. The first 2 shots went off good. That was 1.01 seconds for 3 shots. What happened though is when you transitioned, you went with your upper body. I want you to set your feet, and actually you can bring the gun up on target, okay? And I want you to just, don't turn the gun, turn your hips, okay? Poke your incog holster to the right. Okay? Do you see how your left knee kind of came out?
Yeah.
Now, there you go. Use the knee to turn the gun. Don't use your upper body like the old tank turn. Okay? So if I want to go to the right, I'll push my left knee out. Good. So that was a lot better. A lot better. A little bit too much of a lean, so you don't need a whole lot to turn, do you? It's all in the hips, man. All right, so now rhythm. How do we get better rhythm? This is the hardest part for guys, especially if you're fast shooters. So here's the drill. You got to shoot 5 rounds, but you got to count out loud, and you got to say 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. So did you notice a smooth cadence there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know I'm off. I started speeding up in my mind, and that bothered me. So I would do this over and over at that pace.
1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005.
The other thing we're looking at here besides just rhythm is when you shot the drill, you slapped the trigger a little bit. So now we're starting slower to not slap, and now we'll speed up. So now what I want you to do is go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
See how it starts to come apart? Even though you're used to shooting faster than that, do it again, except start. And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5. So that first and is going to get you started better. Okay. Safety off.
And 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5.
There you go. See, that's rhythm. So remember what that feels like, and you would keep doing that pace over and over and over. Okay. Now watch this. Now we do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Feeling the trigger, making sure my finger never comes off contact of the trigger.
And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, good. Try it again. Okay, boom. That was awesome. Your finger came off on number 4, and that's what we're looking for. But did you feel that?
Yes.
You felt the finger come off.
That you could see that is insane.
That's the hardest part, is for us to self-diagnose as we're shooting. I don't know, what was it?
1.6.
For being such a modular platform, modern AR-15s tend to have an aesthetic redundancy about them. Much like going to Club Live in Miami on a Sunday night, all the girls generally look the same. They just look the same, differently. To my eyes, the Colion Arms Tier 1 rifle is the best looking rifle I own. To the eyes of the 15-year-old living inside me, It's also one of the coolest and most unique. People like to posture about how it's not the gun, it's the person behind the gun. Screw that. This gun makes me a better shooter, period. This gun shoots flatter than the Texas landscape and faster than I run whenever I see a wasp. The barrel doesn't move. I can do quintuple taps like I'm Jerry Michulik's adopted black son. The balance this gun exhibits is incredible. It's not an incredibly light gun, but considering the rail is as long as the world is round, it should be annoyingly heavy. Then again, running what is essentially two optics on the gun isn't doing the weight any favors either. With the rifle-length gas system on a 14.5-inch barrel, this gun should essentially be inoperable. But I've shot thousands upon thousands of rounds through it, and it just keeps spitting bullets like it's mad at the world. This rifle is a confidence builder. It almost puts you in a psychotic state of delusion where no one can outshoot you. If you miss, it's because the target moved at the last second, not because your aim wasn't true. In my hands, I'm a better shooter, a better person, an incredible lover, and none of it is true. Well, except the first two, of course. But when this rifle is in my hands, all of it is true. And that's why I love, not lust, this rifle.
And here is that infamous handgun shot that he has not been happy about all night.
Right.
Right.
See it.
You're going to be able to make up a lot of time on him here.
Anti-gunners like to think the NRA's power only lives in Washington. Our power comes from 5 million members across the country. We get it from your voice and your votes. And the NRA is stronger with your commitment. Join now for an even stronger NRA.
Travis Haley, clearly one of the best shooters that we've had on the show.
Easily.
I mean, but what makes him so great, in your opinion?
Because he takes it above and beyond just kind of an exertion of physical activity. He takes it, he incorporates the mental aspect of it, the emotional aspect of it, the scientific aspect of it, the efficiency of movement. It's not one singular form of study for him. It's everything. It's all inclusive. Right. It's the world.
Has it always been like that for him, or did he just reach this pinnacle and he wasn't sure if he could go any further?
Right. I don't think it could have ever been all of that at one time, like when he first started shooting or when he was in the military or any of that stuff. I think it really was this thing that grew into, okay, I think I've maximized my physical potential as a shooter, so he had to go to the mind. I mean, you know, he was talking to us about watching ballroom dancing, watching professional chefs in the kitchen for efficiency of motion because they have to do so much in such a short period of time. And so he does, I think that he maximized the physical aspects of shooting. And so he had to go into the mind to figure out how he can become a better shooter.
Did you ever do any unique things like that, trying to enhance your skills with basketball?
Oh, for sure. I think we've talked about this before, but my pregame ritual was to separate myself and to mentally see myself doing things in a positive manner and doing the things in the game I wanted to do. But he's using the benefits of other tasks to really excel in his shooting, and obviously it shows. I mean, he is, bar none, you know, one of the best shooters that y'all have ever had on a show, and probably, wouldn't you say, in the world or country, world? Yeah.
No, absolutely, he is one of the best shooters in the world, and taking his skills in other aspects and carrying them over into the shooting. We watched him, we were just having a good time doing some shooting, and we were doing something around the berm on the freestyle field, but he actually jumped over the top of the berm and in midair turned and landed in the little footholds that he had already dug himself. And hit the gun and was immediately on target.
Do y'all have this on camera?
I don't know if we do, but I remember.
Gosh.
Wow.
I remember seeing that and just doing one of those. Like that didn't just happen.
But when I think about it, I think of Bruce Lee.
Right.
I do, because it's like Bruce Lee wasn't the strongest.
Yeah.
He was fast, but he wasn't the fastest at what he did.
Right.
But he took everything collectively, put it together, and then just created a level of efficiency that just made him unstoppable.
Right.
You know.
But let's take it out to the freestyle field and see what this next stage of our challenge looks like.
Stage 12 feels like a game of around the world in basketball, with shooters starting at the 30-yard line and completing a 5-station triangle around the target with 1 hit on target at each. They'll be working with buckshot for those 5, so that should give LaSorte a little confidence boost before he has to face the shot he fears the most one last time, 100 yards with a handgun.
All right, Colion. So we're gearing up for I think it's the basketball stage almost, the around the world type setup.
Well, he's already demonstrated he's 10 times better shooter than I am. He's limping.
But let's be honest here. You're kind of showing your athlete is coming out because you've managed to get this far without pulling something. That should be something worthwhile,
I'm probably
right?
about 3 strides away from pulling.
40. Left.
Uh-oh.
Left.
Those are bad trigger squeezes right there. Can I get that last one you have? Thanks, buddy. Ugh.
Clear. After you make this shot, drop the gun.
Okay. Thanks.
Clear. Looking good. 1 shot from the 100.
He's definitely, obviously struggling on this run back up here. And here is that infamous handgun shot that he has not been happy about all night.
Right.
Right.
See it.
You're gonna be able to make up a lot of time on him here.
And if I miss,
Clear.
I will say though that I'm thoroughly impressed with Darren's tenacity.
You ran a 89.37.
89. That was an 89.37, guys. 89.37. I did some missing there that didn't help my cause.
I mean,
Let me tell you something.
you act like you're battling injury.
If I find out that you were missing on purpose,
I am not missing.
Literally beat your ass.
So I told John before that stage started that you're going to beat me by 30 seconds there, and that was I was expecting to hit every shot except for the handgun. The fact that I missed a shotgun shot that caused me to reload or
realize that puts more pressure on you.
No. I mean, and honestly, you're going to beat me by 30 seconds here, especially with those 2 misses. And I predicted even without the misses that you're going to beat me by 30 seconds.
So let's find out.
And it's all about the handgun shot.
I see it, Cole.
I hit that on like 7. Like that was 7 or 8.
It was
that was scary. It felt like 7 or 8. Good luck, man. Kick it.
All right, so Colion's gearing up to go. This is a really cool course. It's a hard course for you. Obvious point of interest right now is your injury. Are you running off adrenaline right now? I mean, you're still performing impressively well, given your stance.
Couple of flinches with the shotgun, but, you know, definitely. Like, if I was doing anything else right now, there's no way I continue to do this. I mean, this is just like the doctor's going to recommend against it.
Right.
Clear.
I wouldn't do it.
Back here.
Oh,
Come
back here.
Uh-oh, he missed one.
Yeah, you missed the stage. All right, so this is the kind of stuff that happens when you're competitive and you're actually under the pressure of the clock, is you forget things.
Yep.
Exactly. And it's weird because I didn't really experience that in too many other sports, but shooting, it happens. The sound of that buzzer, and all of a sudden it's like you lose your mind.
And before that, he was shooting extremely well.
Drop it and run. Drop it and run.
Now, you said this is kind of his bread and butter, the handgun shot. And he's the one that kind of made you like shooting a handgun from that far away.
Because he's a game shooter.
Clear.
See, first round shot.
Well, you ran that at 62.85. I think you beat him by about 20 seconds.
Were you feeling better after that freaking badass handgun shot from 100 yards?
No.
No, he's still pouting. Still pouting.
I was gonna give you props for that because I was so. What, are you leaving me hanging?
Fine, but I mean.
Put some oomph behind it.
I know.
I'm still competing against a gimp.
Right. You're just not going to feel good about that, I guess. I don't know exactly why, because I'm still trying my best, and I'm not moving that slowly.
And you're making up all of your time with the running portion by, I mean, most of the time making all those shots.
Well, and then I tried, and then the 2 misses at 40 yards with the shotgun. I mean, we were shooting buckshot there, and, you know, we were shooting out to 50 yards.
Interesting choice. Like, why didn't you go with the slug on that?
And I love that you understand all of that, because, like, you know, a while back, you wouldn't have been aware of the slug, buckshot.
No.
But buckshot, so we're shooting federal flight control buckshot.
Okay.
And the pattern at 50 yards even is like as big as a softball. It's amazing how well that shotgun patterns, because normally out of a lot of other shotguns I've shot in the past, the pattern would be as big as a house at 50 yards.
Yeah.
And so we decided to shoot the buckshot. I still missed at 40 yards twice, and that cost me the reload. You had to reload your shotgun too.
Yeah.
But I had a bunch of misses at 100 yards, and you hit your first shot at 100, which of course is your specialty, and that's why you helped me.
It was impressive. It was super impressive.
It was.
Very nice.
Well, thank you, but I'm still losing.
Well, it's all right, because we have how many stages left?
We still have 2 stages, which tons can happen in that amount of time.
Right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in this week, and check us out next week for the next episode of Noir.
Next week on Noir.
LaSorte is at least shooting better now, but yeah, his movement, he's definitely struggling. He's tough for hanging on, but